Well, hello and welcome to Antique Needleworkers. I'm Shellie and this is my channel about cross stitch and all my crafty endeavors. I'm so glad you've joined me here today. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for joining me. And if you're a returning subscriber, I thank you for coming time and time again. Well, short time no see, friends, right? So I am here a little early, and as the title of this video has indicated, I have something big to tell you. And I am so excited. I am so nervous. I'm slightly nauseous, and but I think that every wonderful thing like what I'm going to tell you brings all of those emotions. So recently in several videos, I have been teasing you, unbeknownst to you in some ways, but maybe not, so secretly in other ways. I've said, I've been doing all kind of things in the background that you don't even know about. And I have said, I've been doing some secret stitching and I'll show you that someday soon. Well, that's actually been going on for a super long time, not just recently. Today I came here to tell you that behind the scenes for a very long time, I have been designing and I've been reproducing samplers. And so today is the launch of my Antique Needleworkers website. And, it takes a village. I can't wait to tell you the whole story and how it all began. But yeah, I have been doing a whole lot of stitching, a ton more learning. And if you have been around for half a second, you know that I have had to learn tons and tons and tons of things ever since this channel incepted. But I was actually learning more than you knew. And so, well, why don't I just tell you the story? So back in November of 2022, before this channel even existed, I had gone out to Amana, Iowa. And of course, in Shellie Fry fashion, I went and I was antiquing. And one of my very favorite places in Amana, Iowa, is to go to Amazing Grace Antique Shop. And Miss Sandy, the owner, is absolutely precious. And on that very first trip out there in 2022, it was my second or third time in during that retreat to the antique shop. And I had looked over Miss Sandy's shoulder as she was checking me out. And there was a sampler on the wall. And I said to her, would it be okay with you? Would you mind? Could I come around the back of the counter? I'd really love to see that. Is that sampler for sale? And she said, well, come on back. You can look at it. And when I read what the motto said on it, I literally stood in the antique mall and cried. So I was a little embarrassed, and I had already spent tons of money, as we all do when we go to retreats. We were coming back from going to the Wool and Needle, and I had bought like 3 quilt kits and a whole bunch of other stuff, and we had gone to the Little Red Hen, and I had spent tons of money there. So anyway, the sampler's hanging on the wall, and I immediately began to cry because of what it said. I mean, I wasn't audibly crying, I was tearing up. And I knew that I had to buy that sampler. Now, if you've been here, samplers are my favorite thing. I'm antique at heart. That's why the name conveys. I live up to every single inch of the name of this channel. And so anyway, I turned to Miss Sandy and I said, is it for sale? I really need to take this sampler home. And she said, it's been hanging there waiting for its owner. And she told me what the price was, but she said, I have been waiting for the right person to come along. So she took $100 off of it, and I brought it home. And I loved it. And all of my stitch friends and I were talking about, hey, it's blue. Funny enough, if you look at the banner for the channel on Antique Needleworkers Flosstube, That sampler, I've had so many of you say, what sampler is that? What sampler is that? It's my antique sampler. It was the first antique I had bought. I've stitched samplers for years, but I never bought an antique. And that was my very first one. And that has been the banner. So all of you friends who have asked me that question, that's what that sampler is. And one day you're going to have it in your hands because I'm going to reproduce it. But anyhow, back to my story. So we came home from Amana, and fast forward from November to January and the channel started. And then fast forward from January to March, and I was at Keepsakes, and all of our stitchy friends were there. Sylvia, my sweet, sweet friend from Running with Needles and Scissors, was there. Diane Hermes. We were all just sitting around the table, and the conversation came up because we were talking to, a couple of people, including Sylvia, who's going to reproduce this sampler so we can all stitch it. And that is what started this. I did not see that coming in my mid-50s. I have a little imposter syndrome. I feel like tagging designer and reproductionist onto my name. I feel like an impersonator, but I've never felt more like I was wearing the right shoes than now. I am right in my lane, and all the hard work and all of the things that have gone on since March of 2023 and led to me being able to sit here and talk about this today with you, they've been worth it. It's been a wild little journey. I've had to learn more than you'll ever know. Oh, from that day forward, back in March of 2023, I have to talk about some people who have participated in the culmination of these things. And first, I want to talk about my husband. I called home, which I don't generally call and ask permission to spend money. I just generally spend money when I go antiquing. I know what my boundaries are and I stay within them, but I had spent a lot of money and I wasn't going home without that sampler, but I felt as though that I needed to call home, and I called home. And I look back now at the way God orchestrated everything and everything that has happened along the way, and how absolutely it was supposed to be that way. And it started with that call. And I called my husband and I said, I've spent a lot of money, no joke, and he's like, yeah, no joke. I'm sure you have. And I said, but there's this special sampler, and we are antique, Mr. and Mrs. Antique to the bone. And so when I called him, he said, it sounds like this is something that's very important to you. So you know what? I think you ought to just get the credit card out, buy the sampler, and bring it home. And so that I did. And so my husband is tremendously supportive of every single thing I do. And when the whole conversation about reproducing, and I never thought that I would design original designs, and I cannot even believe that that's happened along the way. It's just like God opens my mind. But I thought that I would only reproduce samplers, and I had told him that that was something I wanted to do, and he has been there and helped, supported, and he has funded every last cent of everything that I've done, which has now amassed, I've collected now since 2022 about 50 antique samplers. So I have plenty in my roundup to work on. But anyway, he just has been so supportive, and I said I wanted to do this, and he's made sure I've had each and everything that I've needed, the encouragement, oh, that looks great, or when I've had ups or downs, or when I'm fretting and worrying about tax compliancy across states, setting up the business and setting up the website and all of those things. He's just been just a wonderful, wonderful husband to me. And then let's talk about Sylvia. I'm going to have a hard time talking about this without crying. Sylvia Stecker, Running with Needles and Scissors. When you hear people in our community say there's room at the table for you, the one human being on this planet who embodies that to the deepest of their core is Sylvia. Sylvia, from that single day in March, has walked every inch of this road with me. She has taught me to chart. She has taught me where and how to find samplers. What are the important things to choose from? She taught me how to use software. She was there the day that I had a big giant hiccup, but hiccups are the best school teachers. My software, I had a very large sampler in an original design. It was back in the beginning, and there you could buy a perpetual package for thread updates, and I bought these extra fonts and things like that, and they weren't in my package, and I was designing, and so I went and read the directions again, and I went and re-downloaded it, and when I did, it zeroed my program out and everything disappeared. The file folders were there, but nothing was in them. I almost had a stroke. The first thing I did was, I said, I have to call Sylvia. My husband said, grab the computer, take it back to yesterday. When it restarted that software and took it back to like a new piece of software, it left the folders, but it took those charts with it because nothing could read it but that, and so it became new again. Does that make sense? So, but you know what that did? That made me so much more proficient in the way that I was able to use that software, and I actually felt so much more secure in what I was doing. And so anyway, so Sylvia was there for that. She's taught me everything along the way, and I can't thank her enough. There is, if you look next to the word mentor, good person, kind heart, you're going to find a picture in Webster's of Sylvia from Running with Needles and Scissors. She has been the dearest and bestest, and she never has treated me like competition. She's treated me like her sister and taught me everything I needed to know to get me to be where I could be here today with you and tell you all about these fun and exciting things that I've been doing. And then there's Carrie. That is the best friend in the whole wide world. Cheerleader extraordinaire. Come in and save the day all the way. Every time that I say to her, I'm ready to throw up, I'm so nervous, should I really be doing this? Oh, Shellie, stop it. She's just the best. And when I got all my designs together and I got them all charted, I did genealogies and all these things, Carrie said, I just want you to be able to hurry up and get out there. And she, if you know, she debuted her first reproduction in her July box. Well, she learned how to format the books. And so that was the last piece of it. And she's like, listen, nobody has any time for that. I'm going to format the books. Just, send me your files and all the things that you want to say, and we'll format this together and let's make it easy. And she formatted my first patterns. So what better friend? I mean, that is love and friendship. Our community is filled with so many people like that. And the list goes on and on and on. My son, I have to thank him. If you look yesterday, as a matter of fact, and I've had all kind of people that have been like, oh, I love the new, because I changed the logo. The logo that was on the Antique Needleworkers Instagram, on my Facebook, and on the Antique Needleworkers Circle of Friends and all of that. I created that myself. And it was beautiful, and I was so proud of it, but it had grainy sections, and when you go to print, it needs to be beautiful, clean lines. Well, my son took the logo and he fine lined it, and so when I switched all those logos yesterday, yeah, that was because I was preparing for today, but my son did that for me. My other son, I wouldn't even be able to do this if it wasn't for my Michael. He has, pardon me, helped me so much, and he was the one who taught me and said, Mom, you can edit, and he pushed me through the door. Jen Ali from the Bougie Stitchers. Oh my gosh, she is such a crown straightener. I love you, Jen. She has encouraged me. You would have seen last fall, she came out here and we spent some time in Lebanon. She knew then, and she's been pumping me up and pumping me up. And I actually, before I turned on the camera, she was one. I've talked to Holly today, and her and Carrie and Sylvia and Lady Huzzah. They're all, everybody's waiting for this video to upload. But thank you, Jen. And Holly Neal, she has been just a absolute cheerleader to me in this venture. Ellen Chester from With My Needle, she has been such an inspiration and an encourager to me. What a gift to have these special people in my life who breathe life, straighten crowns, teach, and help. I just am so appreciative. Arlene Cohen from Works by ABC, when I was at Nashville, we talked about it then, and we were talking about, I couldn't decide, was I going to do a website, was I going to do Etsy, and she was exhausted. She had this long market day in her room, and she stood with me for nearly an hour and a half, and we just talked. She's just a precious friend, and I'm so grateful for what she breathed into this. Kim Storer and Jen Nasca, cheerleaders extraordinaire, my friends and my guild sisters. And like I said, Lady Huzzah Creates, Christy from the Floss Boss and Cousins, and Beth Wixon, who makes those big funky tomatoes. All these people have had their little piece of encouragement or help along the way. And Barbara from Keepsakes, my sweet friend, she was very, very encouraging to me. And when I do the show and tell part of this, I'm going to show you my models that I am debuting today, but you will be able to find them possibly next week. I'll have them over at Keepsakes. So, but anyhow, so all of those things happened, and I've been doing this all that time and stitching all my regular stitching. So I have content here. I feel like I'm actually going to be able to exhale right now, because when you're designing, you can't design for today. You have to design ahead. So today I'm going to show you, I have 3 pieces. They are in paper charts as well as PDFs that are on my website right now. I will in the fall have 2 more releases. In January, I will have 2 more releases. And then I have been accepted into Nashville Needlework Market. And right now, currently, see, you're so many months ahead. I'm actually working right now on my Nashville pieces. So I'm really, really excited. So I told you my stuff. Do you understand now? I keep saying to my friends, I'm so tired. I am so tired. I built my website all by myself. I've never done anything like that in my life. Carrie said, I've done a lot of things. I've never built a website. Yeah, well, I'm glad she formatted the books, because by the time I built a website, I thought my brains were going to squeeze out my ears. But I'm so excited. I put a blog post. I hope that when you will visit the website, I have all the products, and they're categorized in their categories. There's an about, so you could read about Antique Needleworkers designs. And I have attached and will be doing a blog on there. Do subscribe, sign up for newsletters, hopefully, and you can stay in touch with me and see what's coming new. And plus, when I do blog posts, I think that's going to be really a lot of fun. I love to write. I don't know, speaking and writing and expressing yourself that way. I really like to do that. So there's a blog post up on there already. And so anyway, everything's all ready for today. But why don't I show you what I've been doing? Okay, the very first thing I'm going to show you, the first pattern I'm going to show you is this one. This is the Law of Kindness. This pattern, I created it back in February of 2024, just this past February. If you go on my Facebook, you will see this verse from Proverbs chapter 31, verse 26. And it reads this: she opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. You know, if you read a proverb out of your Bible every day, there's 31 of them. If you read them in coinciding with the day of the month, you will read one every day of the month. And it was the 27th of the month, and I had missed my devotion the day before. And I read this. Now, I read Proverbs through every single month of my life. And when I read that day, it just opened up. And it was like, I sat there and I audibly said out loud, Lord, I want that to be me. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. I want that in my life. And so immediately in my head, like I said, this is an original design. I created this myself. I never intended at all to do original designs, but who knew? Who knew? So anyway, there are actually 3 patterns in there. I'm going to show you the cover first. This is the Law of Kindness. I stitched this on 36 count Lakeside Lentil, and all of the colors are Gentle Arts. Gentle Arts is my very favorite cotton threads. And the framing was done by my framers at In the Frame. Teresa, the owner, is so precious. She's done all the framing of my models for me. She's in Cincinnati, Ohio, and they do an absolutely stellar job. But anyway, this is the Law of Kindness, and I'm really proud of it. And I'm so excited to have this in my home and in my lineup. And it was the first thing I wanted to show because this is the desire of my heart. And inside the pattern I put, may this be the desire of our heart. But I didn't just make that one. This pattern actually has 3 patterns in it. And on the back, you'll see the other 2. I made a needle card and a miniature pen pillow. And this miniature pen pillow is miniature. And I'm going to show it to you, and I'm going to show you what my thoughts were. So first off, you know, I have fallen in love with needle cards, so I have to create them myself. As a matter of fact, I am going to be designing an entire book of these things. So this is my needle, and it's finished with pretty scrapbooking paper, and it's on 18 count perforated paper, and it's done in all the colors that go with the main pattern. I absolutely love that. And this is I call this my tater tot. This is my tiny pin pillow, and it's done with 1 thread over 2, just like the design. Oopsie, I'm throwing it. Sometimes I throw things. This is the back. But what's so neat is we all have done these little tiny jewelry boxes. I designed it so it would fit perfectly in your little sewing case. Isn't that cute? So if you disassemble it, your little personalized pin pillow, miniature pin pillow, can fit perfectly right inside a little jewelry box. So that is the Law of Kindness. And I told the story inside the pattern. I have done fully colored patterns. I won't be showing you the patterns, but they're fully colored. I have put the story behind them, and I worked really hard to have very nice books. So they're a full cardstock book, stapled, no plastic bag. And so anyway, that is the Law of Kindness. Let me put her to the side. And then I created a pin pillow, and this is going to be a series. It is called Be Ye Kind. I'm going to be calling this the Be Ye series. And it's a set of, you can do them as a pin pillow to fill your dough ball. You could stitch them all together if you'd like. They're all 65 by 65. And the content and colors will change. And if you see, there's hearts. Be ye kind. It's the key to your heart, you see? So anyway, I did that. And this is Be Ye Kind. It's all done in Gentle Arts. And this is on 36 count Tropical Stitches presentation. The pin was made by Jersey Girl Stitch Co. And yeah, this is what she looks like. So you can do these as pin pillows, but if you took them, the inner border, as I said, everything, you know, that's inner border, that square is going to be the same for every single one. So if you chose a color, you could do a main color border and do slots, and you could put all of your BYs together. And these are virtues that are important to me. And so I wanted them in my home, and I thought you might like them as well. So that is Be Ye Kind. As I said, there will be another one coming out. This is the one of the releases for October is a Be Ye, and there will be 2 more after the first of the year. One will be in January and one will be at market. So there will be 3 by March altogether. So that is the Be Ye Kind pin pillow, and you can look forward to doing more of those. And then I, in my debut here, I did a full reproduction, and this is Delia Conger. Delia was born in 1803. I have actually done her entire genealogy, and you can find it right inside this chart right here. And today, while I'm showing it to you, I'm going to read it to you, but first I want to show her to you. I'm going to show you the original one. I've been waiting to do this. It's not particularly framed the way. It's small and it's a very large frame, but I wanted to show you some evidence that was left. Let me tell you Delia's story. Okay, this is Delia. This is the sampler. I'm getting glare, sorry, it's the glass. But her floating border all the way around made me fall in love with her. And I bought Delia from a auction in the UK, and I thought I was buying a European sampler. There is Delia's name is on here. Another aspect, you're going to see this in several of my reproductions, but I'm trying to get this right. See, she's got A-E-I-O-U. I don't know why we all have things that we love. When I see a sampler with the vowel line, I don't know why. It's just one of my favorite things. But so there was a couple reasons why I did Delia first. First off, her enchanting border, this floating alphabet around the outside. I was in love with it. But as I said, it only had her name on it. It had nothing else. I did not think that there was any provenance, and there was no information given to me when I purchased it at this auction. And then it arrived here, and on the back, her great-great-great-grandchild put some information on the back. And it said that she was born in Rockaway, New Jersey, Delia Conger. She was a French Huguenot. She was born in 1803 and died in 1880. She married John B. Kelsey, and then they put that one of their children was Theodore Abbott Kelsey. Okay, that I went in to do her genealogy, and I was astounded. I was able to find so much about her. So let me show you her reproduction. This is my reproduction of Delia. And there's another reason why I chose to do her first. You see her simple colors. There is this little shadowy white on white border. If you stitch this, do not fail to put that little white on white border, because you know what? It really adds dimension to the piece. But last year, when I was at the retailers meeting at Nashville, one of the things that they talked about was people really aren't doing birth samplers. And, you know, sometimes I think that the reason why people aren't doing birth samplers is because it doesn't convey along with the child. You know, it may be sweet and pink and, you know, chicks and bunnies and things like that, but it just doesn't follow them the rest of their life. This was done in simply pink and blue, green, and then the cream, the white on white. And I thought, wouldn't this be an excellent sampler? You could change the name to whichever color in the sampler that you liked. And if you had a boy, you could remove the flower line and put the date of his birth. And this could convey very beautifully throughout a child's life, but not look babyish. And so I was listening to what I heard at the retailers meeting last year at Nashville Needlework Market. And so that's why I wanted to, as one of my launch reproductions, I wanted to do Delia as well. So that is why I chose her. Do you want to hear all about her life? Let me tell you. Let's read. I've got my glasses here. This is what I put. May I introduce you to Delia Conger's sampler. Delia's petite sampler is very simplistic but wonderfully unique with its floating surround border. I first saw this sampler in an auction from the UK. I was drawn to her by the floating border immediately, and when the gavel came down, she was mine. Delia did not place any date, family connection, or location on her sampler, but there was a beautiful story that would unfold once I had her in my hands. I lost my place. This light, it was in my eyes. Okay, when I had her in my hands. On the back of Delia's sampler frame, her great-great-great-grandchild would place her name, date of birth, and death, as well as where she was born and who she married. This information unpacked a beautiful life for me when I pursued the information that was left behind. Delia was born July the 3rd, 1803 to David and Elizabeth Ayers in Rockaway, New Jersey. As a small girl of just 5 years old, Delia's father, who was known as Captain, passed away on January 20th, 1807. On April 7th, 1821, our Delia marries John Burnett Kelsey in Morris County, New Jersey. And 1 short year later, on August 14th, 1822, Delia's mother dies. This same year, Delia gives birth to her first child, a daughter, Elvira. Over the next 25 years, our sweet girl will give birth to 15 children, 8 girls and 7 boys. In 1834, Joseph, Delia's 4th child, at the age of 8, and William, her 7th child, at the age of 2, pass away. All the way through the 1850 census, we find Delia living in Rockaway, but the 1860 census finds her in Oakland, California. The head of the household was Wright Kelsey. This being her 5th child, did our Delia simply move to be with family? Were there mounting tensions back in the North with the beginnings of the Civil War? No records indicate the purpose of the move, but in the census of 1870, we find Delia back at home in Rockaway, so our mind begins to wonder. On September 3rd of 1880, our sweet Delia, at the age of 77, passes from this life to the next. She was buried in the First Presbyterian Church Cemetery. It was said in her family history that she was a woman noted for her good, clear common sense and correct judgments, making great decisions of character. She was an indomitable resolution of tireless energy and industry, as well as being a strong Christian. Upon purchasing this sampler, I believed I was buying a European sampler, but indeed it was wholly American. Did family take her abroad, the sampler? Was the sampler sold? I will never know, but she's back home now in her home country, and she's loved dearly in my collection, and now here offered for you to love as well. So that is our sweet Delia Conger sampler. This is the first reproduction that I'm sending your way, and I hope that you love her. And I hope that you'll stitch her. So these are my first 3 patterns that are on my website, but that's not all. Nope. So back a couple videos on the 12,000 subscriber giveaway, I was showing you my Shellie's Perfect purse pouch. And I said, look, I have this in my purse and I can stop, drop, and stitch anywhere I want at any time I want. And I can't tell you how many of you you didn't even know I was designing or reproducing, but I got so many comments and so many emails that said somebody needs to chart that so we can all stitch it. And so in honor of you, there's a freebie on my website, and it's just what you wanted. Stop, drop, and stitch. And this is the same little box. I made this box to display this. But indeed, you can do both things, can't you now? And this is Lady Dot Create. I think it's old dirty lace or dirty face lace that I put around it. This is 36 count vintage country mocha, and I used classic Colorworks Manor Red to do that. I love the little scissors. You know I love scissors, and I love the little needle that I put up there. So you can stop, drop, and stitch anytime you want, and this is free of charge. You do have to add it to cart and go through the cart on the website, but it won't cost you a thing, and you'll get an instant download with it. And also, I have a little bit of Notions merch that is on the website. I had some corner gauges made. They have the website address on there. And then the mill, this is the rendition. Did you see? This is the tightened up logo that my son did. He just took and cleaned it up. See how well that conveys the old logo that I had on everything that I created. It was just too grainy and it wouldn't convey well to print. That's why we did it. So thank you, Maddie, my sweet second son. So everybody, Maddie's design is on here, but as well, I had 4-inch rulers done too. And the maker who did these for me, these are for sale on my website under the Notions section. But Pam and Bob from P&B Making Memories on Etsy, they did such a beautiful, beautiful job and took care of me. And so I'm stocked up with a little Notions merch for you too. So, okay, so let's talk about the website. The website is www.antiqueneedleworkers.com. The website, now before I say what I'm going to say, stay with me. The website is, because of VAT taxes and all the crazy shipping around the world, it sells to America only. But my international friends, I did not want to leave you without. I want you to be able to get things too. So just for the simple purpose, because I know you don't want to pay all that big shipping and all those weird international taxes, I set up an Etsy shop as well. And the only thing that will be on the Etsy shop are PDFs. And so for all you international friends, I wanted to make sure that all of you, the first person I thought of was Elaine Thurston, the Staffordshire stitcher, because she's in England, and my maiden name was Thurston, so I really connect with her, and she's a beautiful, prolific stitcher. And I thought of her immediately because I was like, but what if Elaine wants to stitch one of my patterns? And I thought of all my friends, all of you sweet people. I have so many people in Canada that are friends, and Ireland and England and Singapore, and all over the Netherlands, Australia, so many people who watch, and I didn't want you to be without. So the website, do connect with it, whether you're international or not, that way that you can get the newsletter. And that way you can see what's coming up, and you can see all my blog posts, because I'm thinking it's fall. We're getting ready to make soups and bake and all those things. And I think I'll be putting some of those kind of things. Just another way for us to stay connected on my website. Do read the blog, do read the about, please dig around and I'd love for you to tell me down below what you think. That's a scary thing to say. Tell me what you think of my work, because that's the nauseous part. But I hope that the things that I've worked so hard to bring to you, I hope that you like them and we connect even deeper on that level. I absolutely am so passionate about my stitching, so passionate about I love our community as much as I love my stitching, but I couldn't imagine a day without a needle in my hand. And but I also have to tell you, I love being in every little aspect of this community. I eat it up. I love it because I love your excitement. I love to be inspired by you. I love to, just be back and forth with you. So I hope that that's conveyed in my work. And I hope that you like it. So, but do all you international people, in the description box, there will be a link to get to the website, and there will also be, it'll say international PDF customers. Click on that link and you can go right to the Etsy shop and you can download yourself some of my patterns there. And for the international friends, I cannot put a free pattern on an Etsy shop, but if you would like Stop, Drop, and Stitch, you can just send me an email at either AntiqueNeedleworkers@gmail.com or at Shellie@AntiqueNeedleworkers.com, and I will make sure I will send you the PDF there. So if you're international, and that's the only way, because you can't put something free on Etsy. So anyway, my friends, that's what I've been doing in the background for months and months and months and months. I'm already working on March and I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled for the camaraderies and all those sweet people I mentioned that have been part of my life, been part of my journey, been part of my story. In my blog, I talk about all the labels that I'm used to being called in my life, but designer and reproductionist, I was like, yeah, I didn't see that coming. I'll be 56 in about 2 months. Yeah, my 50s have been actually really awesome. There's been a lot of cool things that have come about in my 50s. Who would have thought that? People are just so afraid to get old. Of course, I don't want to be old, but these years have been good. They've been good. So anyway, my friends, I am so excited that I can tell you now. Do you know, all of this time since March of 2023, every time I get on this camera, I say to myself, don't say anything. Don't say anything, because there were times when I didn't want to say anything, because what if I backed out because I was too afraid or something like that. But, then you didn't want to shoot the gun too soon if you didn't have things prepared and things like that. So, but it's become part of my everyday conversation. So it was becoming very hard not to say it. So now I'm so excited to share it with you. I did want to tell you a little something else. There's been a lot of you. I get a lot of messages from my old Etsy shop, Small Town Craft Goods. I'm closing that shop this afternoon. I have left it there so that I didn't really know how I was going to do things. When I made the bags for Barbara last year and I put it on vacation, I was already doing this way back then and before then. And when I did that, to be honest with you, it's not that I am going to continue to make handmade items from my my cutter quilts. I will. I'm going to put a section coming soon. I haven't added it to the website because just to get to today was so much work that that's going to be secondary, and it's going to be a bonus. My focus on my website will be my cross stitch patterns, but there is a section that I'll have handmade items, and you can check in intermittently and you can find them there. I'm going to focus on things for stitchers. There will be Shellie's Perfect Purse pouches when I make them, Notion pouches, project bags that like my Notion pouches, and there will be my tote bags. Those are the items that I will make because, you've got to focus. You got to focus. I'm not, I want to live like an octopus with 8 arms. I want to stitch with 4 of them and make other things with the other 4. It's just impossible. And to be able to keep up with the business and stuff like that, I need to focus. And so my focus is on my stitching community. And so the items that I will be making in the future and adding to the website, which will be, it'll say handmade items. That will be the section. And you can check in there and they'll be there or they won't be there. It'll be depending on my time. So, but you can look forward to that. But I didn't know how, it's like, how am I going to do this? How can I design and reproduce and do this work-life balance and make things? Well, it's taken me months to figure it out, and that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to work on my patterns and my reproducing. And then when I have opportunities, I'll make things and I'll put them in the handmade items. But they won't, the small town craft goods is going to be closed because I have to tighten down the brand. There's no reason to water it down. I'm Antique Needleworkers and that's it. So you can find everything on the website, American shoppers. Even if you're an international person, please sign up for a newsletter. And but international friends, go to the link for the Antique Needleworkers Etsy shop so that you can do PDF downloads. So that's what I've been up to, friends, and I'm so thrilled to share it with you today. I have a bunch of friends that are really excited because they say, Sylvia told me the other day, my camera went off. What I was saying is Sylvia told me the other day, she said, I have such a hard time. I try not to talk about you in any conversation because I can't barely keep this secret any longer. So a lot of us are going to get a little bit of pressure off so we can just talk about it freely. So that's all I have to bring to you today, friends. I thank you so much for joining me here. I do want to say, I did forget, let me come over here. I do want to make sure that there's a few of you that if you would like to have these, I'm going to give away a pattern today. I'm going to give away one of each of my patterns, and I'm going to give a digital download to someone. So before I go, if you would like to have the law of kindness, then if you will use the word law in your comment below, then you could be in to win one of my patterns. And so the word is law for this. If you would like the be ye kind, then use the word kind. And if you would like our sweet Delia, use the word sampler. And if you would like to win a PDF, and place PDF in your comment. Now, do not use the winner contest giveaway. Do not use those words because it attracts the gremlins. But I would love to put one of these in the hands of a few of our special friends there on YouTube. So if you'd like to be part of that giveaway, do use one of those words. And I thank you so much for joining me. I thank you for being so supportive. I thank you for always, being excited about everything I do. And I hope you're excited about these things. And yeah, so I think that's it for now today, friends. Thank you so much for spending some time with me again so soon. And I'll be back here in a couple weeks. And I think that's it for today. So I wish you many happy stitches. Bye-bye now, my friends.